welcome back to part 2 of our interview with Jim Reid. For dealership, and as you've said, there's loads that aren't fully engaged and embracing it. Are there any tips for maybe some that have, that have dipped their toes in social media, but now really want to get stuck in given the circumstances? Is there any things that you would just say, this is where you should start?
Yeah, a lot of people will actually say, and I agree to this to a certain extent, it was much easier for us, 8 years ago for doing it because the organic reach was much, much better. And now that we've got 11,000 plus followers on Facebook, for instance, it's much easier to get that organic reach. Even though the organic reach is nowhere near what it was previously, Jacob, we've still got a far better organic reach than somebody with 100 or 200 or 1,000 followers. But you can still do it. You can still get to those. A normal post of ours with 11,000 will get somewhere between 4,000 or 5,000 up to maybe 12,000, 15,000 views. Something like organic. It's cost us absolutely nothing at all. The person with 100 or 1,000 can still get those amount of views. He's just got to spend money. That's as simple as that. But what he's got to do is he's got to drill down into what type of person he wants to follow him, because he wants to get the follow.
Oh, Jim, your sound's gone.
He wants the people to see, the post, which is obviously fantastic. However, what he also wants to do is get them to follow him, so it's a lot easier to engage with them next time around, so they actually see his post next time around. So it's getting that hook for a start. So you pay for the hook to get him to come on, so you can then deal in the organic. Again, that's very simple. And again, I can't understand why people don't get it. You pay for the hook to get them on board, so you can then feed them the organic stuff, and that's how you grow. But you can get, as I say, regardless of how many followers you've got, you can still get to the right people. But you need to engage and get the audiences correct, because you need to find the right type of people. And there's never a truer word than birds of feather flock together. So if you've got a nice group of people as customers, which you likely have, even if you're a smaller dealership, you'll have a nice group of, and I know, without actually knowing you particularly well, Jacob, I'll know the type of people that you have friends with, and they'll be like-minded type of people, not necessarily into cars, not necessarily into social media, but they'll be nice, grounded type people, a couple of kids type of thing, because we're all grouped together with the same kind of thing. So, I'm your customer, listen, I'm selling, car seats for kids or whatever it is in the range up to 7 or 8 years old. Well, I want to find out, not only I want to sell to you, Jacob, but I want to sell to you and all your friends and all their friends, and their family, and that's what it's all about. It's finding and drilling down, getting your audiences correct, and then putting out. So do a lot of work in the background to make sure you're feeding it out to the right type of people, so you're getting the right type of people coming back to you. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's a solid strategy, isn't it? So essentially, it's a case of paying through Facebook adverts to really get your audience and bring them in, and then from that, it's the organic can flow once you've got them hooked, as you say. And what do you think would work better on social media, in your opinion? Are you more of a post regularly, or are you more of a post one thing a week that's extremely high quality, or just kind of posting more consistent? It's always good quality that you post, but posting more regularly. Which do you prefer?
I think you've got to be very mindful of what you post. You've got to be very mindful. So the content is the main aspect of all posts. You've got to really think about the content, and not what will it give you. It's not what will give us. It's what will give you, the potential customer. Yeah, it's you, the reader. What is it in it for you? And that's how you've got to think of posts. You've got to be very, and that's maybe why we do so well on social media as well, because it's you've got to be selfless, not selfish when you post on social media. It's all about who's reading it. Is that digestible? Is that easy to understand? Is it important? Is it whatever it is, it's got to be the end user and the end listener or the end reader to see it, and that's how you've got to do it, Jacob.
Yeah, adding something that they would see as valuable rather than what you think is valuable. Oh, your sound again, Jim.
It seems to be going on and off, Jacob. Sorry. I think also what you've got to do is you've got to post on a regular basis as well. So it's a mixture of both. So you've got to post regularly. Put it this way: if, for instance, I stopped all of a sudden doing anything on LinkedIn, how long would it take for you to notice that I wasn't doing anything on LinkedIn?
Right, probably fairly quickly with
Yeah.
your content. Yeah.
So the thing is, you would then go, "Oh, what's happened to Jim?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So you'd be a bit of a concern, and then you would think, well, but 4 weeks and you've forgotten about Jim. You know, unless you're really interested, you've actually hooked onto something else. That's how fickle we all are if we're not engaging and we've not got a reason for, if it's selfless posts and we're looking for the selfless stuff, you'll look for it and you'll be concerned why you can't read it anymore. Yeah. Whereas if it's just a normal, continual drivel post, everything else, it's easy to replace with something else, isn't it?
Filtering into the noise, isn't it?
Absolutely. So it's very easy to become disposable, because a lot of people on social media are completely fickle, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter that he's out of business, move on to somebody else, it's as simple as that. But it's engaging people on social media so they warm to you, so they've got an understanding for you, and you gain respect out of that. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, and are there times of the day that you would recommend posting? Are you quite free when it's there in your mind and you're posting it, you'll post, or do you wait for certain times of the day?
Yeah, when you're awake helps.
Yeah. It's a good start if your audience is from the same country. I mean,
honestly, some of my best posts, you'll laugh at us, Jacob. You'll absolutely laugh at us. Well, you actually know because you've actually received a couple of messages from it this time. But walking my dog at 6 o'clock in the morning, that is my the zone. Yeah, and I'm on my phone and I'm normally listening to a podcast and putting a LinkedIn post up, and you think, how can I do that? And walk a dog at the same time. That's when I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone, and that's some of my best posts are the early morning posts without an absolute shadow of doubt. And it's when it's thinking about nothing else, bing, and that's exactly when it comes out. But it's when it becomes a lot to do with timing with events. Likewise, you've got to listen to the room. What I call listen to the room. You've got to sense the, especially just now with the whole COVID thing going on just now. You've got to understand exactly when the next move is. We're all
sound. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, so listen to the room, and with the COVID-19 thing, it's very important to listen intently to what the tone is out there, so what move to make next. There's so many dealerships out there looking really desperate to open, and they're looking really desperate. Whereas I don't think we're coming across as looking desperate. We're just doing it at the right pace at the right time. And I've had so many contacts, especially through LinkedIn posts. Jim, can you send me the supplier for all your gear? Well, I mean, I just found him. I'm not some magical, guy who does, hand sanitizer and sneeze screens. I just found them. I'll certainly send you them. It's not a problem at all. But it's because we look like experts because we've done it and we've done it properly and we've done it in video, so everybody can see what we've actually got, and it comes across like that, doesn't it? So a lot of it is to do with the interpretation of the user, isn't it? It's your view as the viewer. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That is so right. In this whole social listening thing is so important. It's an area where you can make or break a business in some ways, because if you're not listening to the tone and you put out the wrong thing, it can come across in such a different way than what you planned it to come across in.
Absolutely.
And I suppose, of course, social media isn't all roses and sales opportunities. It's heavily publicized that too much social media isn't good for people's mental health, and equally kind of people can get very disheartened, as we've kind of touched on, if you give everything into this post that you thought would absolutely crush it and make a big impact for people, and then it just fails miserably. And I've definitely been there. The best post in the world that then no one's engaged with, and I thought, what's gone wrong here? But for you, are there any pitfalls or challenges that you've seen using social media that you've had to overcome when it comes to car sales and servicing?
There's definitely areas that you've got to completely avoid. There's completely, there's things you just do not post on social media, and people still do it. Politics, do not go anywhere near politics at all. Just don't. In religion, just don't do religion. I mean, it's as simple as that, because on the servicing side of things and the car sales side of things, I think there's always, we've got such a fantastic industry to get across on social media. because you can make a video, you can make a social media post about everything and anything. From something as simple as pumping up your tires, or a post that I could actually post every single year that would get the same response is the one with the fuel tank, the fuel tank and the nozzle on the actual gauge itself. Well, that says what sides it's at, on where the light is, and something, and it'll get exactly the same, because people forget, or it'll be new people that's engaging with you. But there's so many different things in motor industry to get excited about and to tell people about. And is there anything really, really new? There's nothing a lot new. It's just a different take on it, and you just get to put yourself across and put your own personal stand in it, I think, personal stamp.
One thing that I think about with content whenever I'm posting something, or when I was in the dealerships posting, was some people say, well, I'm running out of ideas of what to post. And I'd just sit back and go, well, what do you get asked on a daily basis by customers? How do I change this? How do I connect my Bluetooth? How do I pump up a tire? How do I do that? What does a PCP mean? I'm just thinking, every single one of these is an individual piece of content which will help and bring value to someone. It's a supply of content that you can put out when you really think about what you just asked through. If someone's asking you it, then it's going to bring value to it person.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as I say, I think we'll all have, those days where you think, I can't think of anything, anything to put up, and it's okay. Listen, that's absolutely okay. People who write books have got writer's block. At the end of the day, they can't write 100%. But then again, 2 or 3 days down the line, they might write 3 days worth in one day, because we all feel energized to go and do something. It's almost the same idea as when we've all got to-do lists. When I've got a diary, and I use an old-fashioned diary, which works best for me, and I basically score out when I go along. I've been always very much like that. And some days you go in and you look at 3 or 4 things on your list, and you think, well, I could actually bang that out, probably all in the morning, and you still got only one of them scored out at the end of the day. Whereas the following day you can have 20 items listed and you'll get through them all, and then your second, next day. But it's just our ability as human beings, isn't it? A lot is to do with state of mind. A lot is what's happening in the world. It's what your thoughts are as well, how energized you feel, and I think a lot of that is to do with your social media posts as well. The fact that you can't think of something, to post and so, it's fine. Either don't post, or even better still, which is something we did years and years ago, which was fantastic when we started up for a start, is we kept a little book. It was a blank, no page. There was pages in it, but no lines in it. Yeah, and we're all encouraged, when we got an idea, we'd actually write down that idea. Now that's great, because it's a go-to book when you can't remember, can't think of something. Go to that book and pick something out and pop it up as a post. It's one of these. It's like a reference book, isn't it? You just pick it up and post something out.
I love that idea. I think anyone that's listening who's not thought of that and has that kind of block some days, but a load of ideas another, and they know they can't post them all, has just gone on Amazon and ordered a book, a plain book, to make sure they've got something. And our industry is naturally, with everything going on, moving more digital. And I think one concern that I hear from listening around is how customers can still feel confident in the products and services if they're not physically with the person. And it's kind of a tricky situation for businesses of how they can make that come across in a digital sense. So from your level, how are you instilling trust when it comes to this online world with what you're doing?
Yeah, so this is very much so about it's just purely communication. Again, it's really simple. Everything's really simple, Jacob. Everything's really simple. It's only about communication. And as I've said a number of times on different podcasts and things like that as well, if this had happened, if this COVID pandemic had actually happened 20 years ago, we'd all be stuck, because we wouldn't have managed to have meetings, because we wouldn't manage to see each other on like a Zoom. You wouldn't have conferences. You wouldn't have the same amount of phone calls, because you wouldn't have your mobile phones and things like that. So, thankfully it's happened when it's happened, because we're all connected so much better. I think with regards to like sort of Zoom, for instance, Zoom is something I only heard about back in September, October time last year. Never heard of Zoom before then. But everybody knows about Zoom now. My dad, who's 86 years old, he's got Zoom on his iPad. because the tour community council, which he's part of, you know, he has got a Zoom meeting and he can work it. Now, this is ideal times for the car dealership because, you know, those people who were technophobes before now know what Zoom is. So the great thing is, what you do is you phone them when you're on the phone. You say, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll Zoom instead of this phone call. I'll Zoom you so you can actually see me. Yeah, we can hear that conversation. Absolutely fine." That then builds the confidence because you're not actually hiding behind the phone, and you can actually see a lot more because you can even see. By me, I speak with my hands, by the way. Yeah. You know, but it's these type of things you actually see and you can trust somebody. You know, that's the next stage. And then the next stage, I'll tell you what I'll do is, you know, you've got Zoom, so have you got, you know, WhatsApp on your phone? Oh, I've got WhatsApp. Yeah, I've got WhatsApp. Or, you know, I can send you a video link by email as well. You can watch this, you know, walk around the car as well. And I'll go through the car. So they've seen the same person, and they're going to see the same person in the walk around video on the same voice, you know. And that's the thing that builds the confidence. The more you hear the voice, the more confident you'll become with that person, and the more times you're in contact with that person. It's very simple. You know, it's what they call sales.
Yeah, that in itself is so valuable because I know we've had conversations of, we know that the Zoom side of things is going to be more and more brought in to give that experience, but how do you go from a phone call to a Zoom and make that transition easy? And you've just answered it. That's it, and made it sound so simple, and how it could effectively and easily be done, and then lead on to, as you say, WhatsApp and the links for videos and all this type of thing. It all kind of, it's almost changing the sales process to go from what it was to a different sales process, isn't it? And a line of events that will happen to lead people down the road of making them feel confident, making them see you and the product properly. You
know, I think one of the things, Jacob, is you could actually exclude a lot of potential customers, you know, especially ageist wise as well, by saying, you know, it's online. Because people are scared. You know, people are scared. You know, oh well, I'm not going to buy another car ever because it's online. You know, it's like a computer. You know, but if you can get, you know, if you can get them onto Zoom, which I mean, it's very, very easy. And the great thing is, all the legwork's been done by the family. They've done all the hard work, so they now know how to work Zoom. You know, they know to click on the link and then join the meeting. You know, that's very, very easy. And then, you know, you click on the same link. It's a very similar link to get the video that I'm going to do for walk around. So in reality, online isn't online. You know, it's not about buying the car. You don't have to buy the car online. And in fact, if you don't trust, you know, transferring that £10,000 from my bank, your bank account to my bank account, go down to your bank and they'll do it for you. You know, it's simple, and we'll deliver the car to you. You know, it's making it. It's all about choice, Jacob. It's all about choice. I think the dealerships who say it's all
sounds gone, Jim. Sorry.
I think for the dealerships who say it's all online, and you know it's an end to end, which we've got, you know, because I think some you know, it's given the choice to the people who want to do it, but they're excluding a lot of people, you know, and I think a lot of people will be scared and they won't contact you because they think it's only online. So we've actually got I'm actually going to tell you this because this is breaking news. This.
We're listening now.
Yeah. So when's this going out?
You've got a bit of time, probably a week or so.
That's fine. So you'll be first to know then.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, an exclusive. Yeah. So we're discussing obviously what ideas we've actually got about obviously getting it out to the general public of what we can do or what you can do, right? So we've got a name for it. Yeah. So we've got a name for it, and see if you like this or not. Yeah. So we're going to call it From Zoom to Vroom.
Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. And it makes sense. It makes sense.
I should have been a marketing manager. That's what I should have been.
You're wasted. Owning dealerships. What's going on?
So from Zoom to Vroom says exactly what it means, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so
taking people down this new journey that's going to be the new process for them into their vehicle.
Absolutely. And everybody knows what Zoom is now, and everybody knows what Vroom is. You know, it's very, very simple, you know, and we're going to pitch it like that, and that's how we're going to put it across to our customers. Now, in the background of that, there's always going to be an explanation of the different points that you've actually got and the different touch points that you've obviously got, or contactless points in reality you've got. But that's how we're going to put it across. And it'll eventually get to, instead of, you know, click and deliver. It'll be click and collect, and again, we'll obviously move to that. But it'll very much to do with the digital side of things, and video is going to be so important. And I know you've banged on about video for months and months and months, and we put out video, but video again is a word that scares a lot of dealerships, because video, everybody thinks, video, it's going to be a polished video. There's really, there's three really different kind of videos, isn't there? The use of video. There's the really polished, this is a presentation of the car, that's on your website, yeah. There's the walk around video, and there's this type of video where it's conversational, and if you can nail all of them, you don't have to be polished with them. The polished one is the presentation of the car, but even that, you'd rather have somebody from the dealership doing it than somebody from out with the dealership doing it, or no sound or just music or whatever. I think it's it's very wise to speak somebody around a car. I think that's definitely how to do it. And again, a personalised version of that as well. So look, because you'll have questions if you're buying a car from me. I've got a BMW, what is it, a 435 out here, M Sport. And one of the things about 435 is great big wide wheels. So guess what? You'll be wanting to know what the wheels look like and the condition of the tyres and the wheels, and if there's any stone chipping up the side, all these things. What's the paintwork like, and the bolsters in the seat and things like that as well. Now you ask me these questions, and I'll spend time going around these to show you. Yeah, and the trust that's actually built up on that is amazing. And the great thing about it as well is, if there's a little nick in one of the wheels, you show them a little nick. You'll compare it with a nail size or a pen size or something like that. Say, look, it's a tiny little nick. We wouldn't normally do this. It may.
Oh, your sound's gone, Jim. Sorry.
So if there's a little nick in the wheel, you'll compare it with a nail size or a pen size or something like that, and you can actually show them the size of the actual nick in the wheel. And you would suggest them, well, I wouldn't actually get that done because it might change the look of the wheel, the colour of the wheel might be off from the front one to the back one. But it's giving them the choice. And the great thing about it as well is, if you're delivering that car from a socially distant point of view, you've got to give them the T's and C's. So you've got to give them 14 days to cancel that car. If you don't, it's 12 months. So you don't want them to cancel them after 12 months, because that's going to be completely disastrous for any business. So the 14-day side of things, they've got 14 days to cancel that car. So you want to tell them about any stone chips or any light scratches, because you need to let them know that that's what to expect. It's a used car after all, so they will have expectations. The unfortunate thing is, customers' expectations are up here, and if you don't say, the assumption is that's the car up here. So you've got to say, listen, this is actually what it is, not here. But listen, this is more acceptable than the car that's £1,000 cheaper in the Auto Trader, which is down here.
Yeah. You're buying a pre-owned car, so we have to expect some age-related marks. But it is a new car to you as a customer, so we will pride ourselves in making sure it is as high quality as we can, given its age and mileage. And with that, we come to the end of part 2 of our interview with Jim Reid. So thank you, Jim, and thank you so much for watching and listening. Make sure, if you're not already, you're following us on all of our social media, so Facebook, LinkedIn, all the usual, and we will catch you in part 3, where we get a bit more down and personal with Jim Reid.
Sorry, I've got no idea what's happening.
That's okay, that's fine.
You get lunch editors, see you?
Yeah, Stu's listening on going, oh, Jesus, I've got some work to do.
Yep.